What is going on, YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast, and today we don't have a whole lot to talk about. For once, we don't really have a whole lot. There's not a lot going on, man. There's not a lot going on. We got the NBA All Star break going on right now, and just some random sports news that we get to slightly discuss. So, Andrew, how are we feeling? I know obviously the Cavs are coming off a nice few games with DeAndre Hunter. So we've gotten to see that at least going into this all-star break. So, the Cavs are certainly keeping the vibes cool, as well as the Guardians starting off with pitchers and catchers this past week. So things are starting to look up a little bit. But again, not a whole lot going on right now.
No, this is the second worst part of sports is there's nothing to talk about when it's All Star Weekend. Obviously, we could talk about spring training, but that just kicked off literally like 2 days ago. Yesterday, as pitchers or catchers reported over the last couple of days for every team. Um, but yeah, this is a part of sports where we get to all the breaks. There's no NHL action. It's the Four Nations, which is a new thing they're trying for like their kind of like All Star weekend or All Star break for 2 weeks, a week and a half. So there's no hockey right now. There's no basketball. There's no football is dead after the Super Bowl. Football's done now. So, I,
Okay, we're good.
so, so as of right now, dude, there's no sports going on right now.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah,
gone.
which is very, it's very weird, especially after that first like full week after the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, it's not been a whole full week
Yeah.
since the Super Bowl, so I guess we can talk a little bit about that as well if you want. But needless to say, we both called the Eagles winning that game.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I made a pretty solid prediction on what was going to happen. Not everything happened. Barkley did not win MVP. Barkley did not run all over Kansas City. They actually defended him pretty well. They tackled him very well. But Jalen Hurts had himself a game in that the Eagles defense, which I knew was filthy, played just insanely good. Probably some of the best defense that I've seen played, especially against Pat Mahomes, really since they lost to Tampa a few years ago. And I kind of compared it to that, to be honest, because he was running for his life all game long. So, but yeah, after that first few days to a week after the Super Bowl, sports are definitely a little lower on the talking points. I mean, there's really only basketball going on. Obviously you have NCAA basketball going on, and Ohio State's been better, but I
Yeah.
haven't I haven't watched OSU sports in a minute. We got hockey going. I'm not really huge into hockey, but I know the guys over there are doing great. The Blue Jackets. So, um, there's still some fun things going on, and obviously the Cavs are still rolling the way they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a pretty boring week for you guys. But we still have enough to discuss to make an episode, so we're gonna try our best to do so. So I guess the one of the first things that I want to get into really is the Cavs.
Yeah.
Ending going into the All Star break, I should say we are 47-10 or 44-10, whatever it was.
44-10.
Yeah, so we are still about, was it 5 or 5.5 games up on Boston, despite losing to them about
Yep.
2 weeks ago. Still haven't really lost really any leverage on them. Not the top team in the NBA, but we're still up there doing pretty well. And the addition of DeAndre Hunter has proven to do almost exactly what we want it to do. So what have been, your first early thoughts on him? He obviously got the start the first night on Monday night against the Wolves, and then he came off the bench last night for Struess. And he had an even better game, last night. So
Yeah.
Hunter is fitting in perfectly in my eyes.
Yeah, same. He's fitting in very perfectly here. And again, it's something that we wanted, we called for, and Kobe Altman put it all together. He said, all right, we're going to package Niang and Levert. Let's get him out of here. And let's go get a guy who can get you 20 off the bench.
Yeah.
And shout out to him in his first start. He had 12 points, and then he came off with 20 the other night off the bench, like he has been doing all season long. And also, big shout out to guys like Merrill, who's dropped 20 off the bench too, and Ty Jerome, who's dropped. Like, now we have a lineup. Now we have a team. And this casting looks so good with DeAndre Hunter now. So much better than watching Niang Levert come in and just do absolutely nothing besides commit fouls, turn the ball over, take stupid shots, and waste opportunities. Because I've seen some highlights of them down in Atlanta, and they still don't look good.
I mean, they look better. I mean, especially
they look
Niang,
better.
I think Niang has had a bigger, impact. He's been able to kind of, play a little more freely. He's getting minutes because I think they're currently starting him right now, which is very interesting. I don't
think they have anyone in that position to start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's very odd. But I think it was a trade that sort of fit both teams, and it fit all of the players. Like, all the players where they're at now, they're going to fit better. I think with having DeAndre and then, with Atlanta having to play behind the rookie, I think that kind of hurt him a little bit. And I think that just kind of put him in a weird position, the position to sort of come off of the bench. But he's been doing great. And, there were some people that were starting to make some comments last night about, I hope the Cavs don't let him not start for too long. And it's like, honest to God, I think it's like, especially when we get to playoff time, I think you are going to have the flexibility to be able to go back and forth between starting Strus at the small forward or starting, DeAndre Hunter, or even starting Wade when he comes back. Because here's the key part in this entire thing. We have not had a Coro for over a month or 2 months now, and Wade's been out for the last few weeks. So as soon as that comes back into play, I mean, you're talking about a Cavs team that's literally like 10 or 11 guys deep for the whole season at least. And then when you get into playoff time, you're going to have to make decisions on who's going to play in what games and who's going to be a better matchup for certain games. And I think that gives Kenny all of the wiggle room to make that happen and be creative. Yeah. And when guys aren't going to have good nights, you have the ability to insert another guy to help. Like, this Cavs team is easily like 10 or 11 guys deep, easily, and we still have a roster spot to fill, by the way. So I'm assuming with that spot, we're going to try to bring in some sort of backup center, maybe, because I don't see Tristan getting, really much time at all. I know he had a little bit of fun last night, basically taking on all of Toronto, but it was for good reason. I am on his side for that too. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but Tristan decided to dunk the ball within like the last few seconds left, and really what it was is they're down by 20 or 25 points and they're full court pressing with under a minute left, and Tristan's like, if you're gonna full court press, I'm just gonna be a dick and really shove this in your face.
Yeah.
And the coach for Toronto was very annoyed, and it's like, I get it, but I'm tired of these unwritten rules.
Me
too. I'm also tired of the Cavs playing the nice guy. Fuck that, man. Be the villain. I don't care. Especially Tristan. What does Tristan have to lose? It's not like he plays a lot of minutes. Like, he can be the enforcer for us if he really wants to. And if he decides to take on that role, so be it. But I thought it was hilarious. And again, with the Cavs being able to be this deep, it's going to help us stay hopefully healthy throughout the rest of the season until we get into the playoff time, which honestly, that's my number one goal through the rest of this last part of the season, is to just keep everybody healthy, get into the playoffs fresh, because there's going to be guys that are going to play 35, 40 minutes in those playoff games. And when that happens, hopefully their conditioning is going to be up, but they're going to be well rested, unlike last year.
Well, and I think what's been helping is that you've been winning damn near every game this season by double digits.
Yeah.
So you're able to rest the starters basically almost for the entirety of the fourth quarter. I mean, looking at last night's game, you rested your starters damn near the entire fourth quarter, and you still won by 25 plus.
Yeah.
So I think the Cavs are going to be very well rested heading to the postseason, and I think we could say that we're pretty much almost a lock for the number one seed, because as long as the Cavs continue to win games and Boston continues to kind of go up and down and struggle back and forth or whatever, I mean, we're 6.5, 7 games ahead of them now, again, like we were at the start of the year. So
Right.
as long as we keep that pace, we're pretty much locked in for number one seed, which is pretty much guaranteed by.
Which would help.
So you're going to be very well rested. Guys could play 40 minutes in the playoffs. But also what helps too is that, again, this is why you grab DeAndre Hunter, is because now you have bench depth. Now you can keep your guys out for a long while the bench guys like Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill and DeAndre Hunter go to work.
Yeah.
And they do their thing. And I mean, even Craig Porter has been great at facilitating the basketball coming in for Darius Garland. And like, he doesn't need to score points. He's a great facilitator. He's a great passer. He's a very aggressive defender too. Like, he plays very good defense. So he's a hustle man. And every team, and when the last time the Cavs won a championship, they had a hustle man in Dellavedova.
Yeah.
So that really helps a lot too. So what really helps with us going into this postseason is the fact that we have depth now. We have guys who we can rely on to come off the bench and play 15, 20 minutes and help keep our main stars out and well rested, and that lowers injuries. I mean, you still get Isaac Okoro and Dean Wayne coming back soon, and that helps even more. So there's plenty of help there, and there's plenty of help to come. So the Cavs are in the best spot you could possibly be in the NBA, because as far as the eye can see, you're the deepest roster. Because looking at OKC, they're playing all their guys. They're playing Shea and all them 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Once you get to the playoffs, that's going to gas you, because now you're playing every other night instead of playing one game and then, you might play a back-to-back at home or something, or you might play one game and you might travel a close distance for another game like every other day or something. Or you might play, we might play a game in OKC, then we fly to Boston and 2 days later.
Right.
No, this is the playoffs, man. You're going to be playing every other night.
Yeah.
And that's going to gas you.
Well, and not only that too, like with the playoffs, like the whole other element behind it is
Teams get more aggressive.
Teams get more aggressive, but they also get more chances to make these changes to their lineups into their game plans, because it's at least a 4-game series, at least. So they have at least four games to get at you. And you have to be able to keep your A game. And OKC was able to make some noise last year, but they weren't quite there yet. They're going to be better for this year. But if they continue to gas themselves, somebody else is going to get hurt. And I know Holmgren just came back, which is going to be great for them because it gives them size and it does give them the ability to score. But it wasn't like he was really. He wasn't really making the noise that you would think a top 3 pick like him would make.
He didn't play the other night against Miami. He didn't play last night.
Right. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time for him to consistently play again, because he had a pretty crazy hip thing going on, or I think it was a lower back or something, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was pretty severe enough to where he was out for the first pretty much few months, essentially. But Shy is outstanding, like he is. He's a
Absolutely.
fantastic player, and he's probably going to win MVP this year,
He
100%. And
deserves.
he does deserve it. But it's only going to get you so far. And if teams can learn to lock you down and know that as long as they lock you down, nobody else is really going to be able to do enough to get them out of these games. It's going to be tougher for them.
Well, and mind you, there's still very good teams in that Western Conference. Like, it's not like the West is just runs through OKC. Memphis is really fucking good this year. Memphis is really good. Denver's still Denver. Like, Jokic is still Jokic. Like, he'll drop 40 a night no matter what.
The Lakers got better.
The Lakers got better. The Clippers,
Luka, for fuck's sake.
The Lakers or the Clippers are playing better this year. The Rockets are actually a decent team this year.
They are.
So the West is a very
competitive.
It's competitive. So it's not going to run through OKC now. Although they are 8.5 games ahead of Memphis for that 1 seed, and obviously we're 6 games ahead of Boston for the 1 seed. It doesn't change it, and we're half a game back of OKC for first overall.
Yeah.
So it's not like OKC's this unbeatable force. I mean, I just looked at a couple of games in a row, and Shea's been playing 35 plus minutes every single game. Eventually, that's going to go into the playoffs, and that's going to tire him out, and you're going to have to, and teams are going to attack that. They're going to attack the fact that Shea's going to be out there all game long, and they're going to hammer him down in the paint. They're going to hammer him all over the place, and they're going to take him out.
Yeah.
And they're going to make him go to the bench and force his way to the bench. And now you have to run through Dort. You have to run through Chet Holmgren. You have to run through Hartenstein. You have to run through these guys because or what's the guy's name off the bench? Joe, which I love that last name. It's funny. But you have to run through those guys because Shea's going to be so tired for playing all these minutes that teams are going to directly attack him. And they're going to put him out and make sure he stays out of the game. And then it's at that point, it's over. Once you take Shea out, it's over. Shea's the one that's keeping you afloat damn near.
Yeah. And I mean, a very good example is what we dealt with Donovan. Like, when we lost Ja and, Garland was sort of in and out, it was Donovan's show. And Donovan had to play, like, even throughout the season, Donovan and Darius and Mobley would play excess of at minimum like 36 minutes a game, if not 38 to 40. There was many times where JB was doing that. And if you look at Detroit, Detroit isn't playing that bad a ball, but look at their starting 5. All of them are averaging above 30 to like 38 minutes. Especially guys like Cade, like they're playing him 38 minutes a game minimum. And it's nothing has changed on fucking JB's side at all. But like it could potentially be a recipe for disaster. Like, yes, do you want to have your guys conditioned for it? Sure. But these guys should be. They're professionals. They should have it in the tank to do it every so often. But if you can limit yourself, and you can also get your bench guys a ton of minutes like we have, like Merrill is getting like above 20 minutes a game. Ty Jerome is getting around 20 minutes a game. These guys are getting productive minutes. Hunter, whether he comes off the bench or not, he's going to get probably around 25 to 30 minutes a game, especially in the playoffs. Strus is still going to get around 20 to 25 minutes a game just because of his shooting alone. And Merrill has been an outstanding shooter for us, but also Merrill has played some damn good defense lately. I don't know what's gotten into him, but against the Wolves, man, dude, he was all over that team. And I just think Kenny is going to understand how to play these matchups better now that he has a wider variety of guys to choose from. And that's what the DeAndre Hunter trade did for us. It gave us reliable depth. It didn't just give us depth. It gave us reliable depth that you can turn to at a minute's notice. And if one guy goes down, you're going to have 2 more that can probably step in and help facilitate and help cover the ground. And even with Craig Porter, as you said, like, not only is he good at just being able to kind of facilitate, he can score, but he's also like a decent rebounder. He's got some decent size to him as a guard. Like, it just, again, it gives us more variety. And I'm really curious to see how Atkinson decides to switch up the lineup when Wade and Decoro get back, because that's when things are going to get a little harder. And for me, I think it's just going to kind of split some things up. It's going to kind of take some minutes away from some guys, but I mean, you still have to keep guys like Merrill and them in the lineup, because with Merrill shooting the way he is, like, he's almost getting you like 2 to 4 threes a night minimum right now.
I just looked at some of the stats over the last couple games, and Merrill has had 3 steals in the last 3 games. He's been averaging 3 steals in the last 3 to 5 games. So his defense is becoming better. Last night against Toronto, he played 26 minutes, 16 points, 4 threes. DeAndre Hunter, obviously 18 points, 4 threes as well. Ty Jerome did not play last night. He was quote unquote injured. So Ty Jerome did not play the other night. But the game before against Timberwolves, he had I think it was 17, 18 points himself.
Right.
So, like you said, you're not just adding depth, you're adding a quality of depth. I mean, Max Strus started off the game yesterday really hot. He had 12 points in that first quarter. I mean, granted, he finished with 14, but him and Hunter both played 27 minutes apiece. So him and Hunter were sharing minutes. And they both dropped. And like I said, Strus dropped 14, Hunter dropped 18. So if you can get that from Strus and Hunter every night, that helps a shit ton.
Hell yeah, it does.
And even too, like I said, Sam Merrill dropped 16 himself. Jalen Tyson had almost double digits. He went 3 for 3 in field goals and 2 for 2 for 3 in 17 minutes. He had 8 points.
Yeah.
So Jalen Tyson's doing well with the minutes he's been getting. But even still, Imani Bates played 4 minutes, 1 steal, 3 points. DeAndre Hunter had a steal, 5 rebounds, and 0 assists. Sam Merrill had 2 steals and 16 points. Craig Porter had 2 steals and 8 points. Craig Porter also had 5 assists and 4 rebounds.
Right.
So like we said, even though Porter can score, don't get me wrong, Porter can score when he wants to.
Yeah.
But he's also, like we said, a great facilitator and a great rebounder. He went out there and got 5 assists and 5 rebounds for you. So he will go out there and do that for you and play good defense. So this Cavs team, they continue to find ways to get better. And also, he had 2 steals too. 2 steals, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. That's a very productive day, even though you only scored 3 points.
Yeah.
From Porter. That's a very productive day for getting a steal, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's a great night. That's what we need you to do. We don't need you to score, and that's the thing I expect from Isaac Okoro. I don't need you to score buckets. I just need you to be a good facilitator. I need you to play good defense. I just need you to just do something. I don't need you to necessarily jack up threes and drop buckets. And don't get me wrong, Okoro's been great at that recently. He's been great at shooting the ball as of late. But we don't need you to do that. Guys like Craig Porter, guys like Okoro, guys like Travers and Merrill.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily need you to score buckets. We just need you to just do the jobs that you do so well. Now, Sam Merrill, let it rip. Every time you touch the ball, just let it fly.
Yeah, that's the best part about him, man. He's like our Kyle Korver.
Yeah. As soon as you touch that ball, dude, just let it go. And he has been, and he's been dropping damn near 20 in the last 4 games alone. I mean, he had 30 last week. So the Cavs are in a prime position where every single one of their guys does something well on the floor. Jalen Tyson does good things, whether it's defense or and creating somewhat good offense. Because he gets second chance buckets, he gets second chance rebounds.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Tyson. He gives you those second chance opportunities because he's a scrappy player. So yeah, I mean, this team is built to last, and this team is built to win. And this is probably the great year for Donovan Mitchell to capture his first NBA ring.
Absolutely. And I think that's why Kobe decided to say, you know what, I know this can mess up the culture a little bit, but to go after DeAndre Hunter
You gotta
and
take those
make this
risks.
trade, it takes the risk, and it also gives us fans a saying, okay, you get it, you understand that this is now or never, and if you don't make a trade like this, you're missing out on an opportunity to win a championship right now. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, this is the year to do it. The Cavs are one of the best teams in the league, period. And when they match up well with some of these teams, and when they get these teams out of the rhythm, the Cavs look disgusting. Like what we did to the Wolves on Monday night was foul.
Yeah. It was
Because
crazy.
you can see that against the Raptors. The Raptors have been ass all year long. They are playing for lottery, right now. But Minnesota is a playoff team in the West, and they're playing for sort of the middle of the field right now because the West is getting better. But
Yeah.
that is a solid squad over there, and
They beat him by 21.
the Cavs literally started the game 16-0. Like it looked like a fucking football score or like a crazy baseball score there for a minute. And the Cavs really just decimated them. Like any chance, any opportunity that the Wolves had to try to like even get back into the game, the Cavs would just constantly shoot them down, especially at the end of that third quarter when I think Merrill hit a three and then we sort of full court pressured them. Merrill made them throw the ball away to Jerome, and Jerome was able to get a free shot off at the top of the key before the buzzard, and then he hits it, and it's just like that is such a nasty momentum switch of being like, oh, fuck, all right, pack it in, and that's what this team can do to teams. Like the Cavs can demoralize you to the point of you don't even want to show up in the fourth quarter because it was been such a rough first three quarters that the Cavs can put whoever the fuck they want out there, and they're going to cruise still to a 20-point victory. That's what this team's identity has been. It's demoralize these teams, get them down early, and don't let up. Because then by the time the fourth quarter hits, you still keep a starter or two in for that first 4 minutes, and then if you still have a 20-point lead by then, shit. You're throwing in Luke Traverse and you're throwing in Craig Porter, you're throwing in Sam Merrill, and you're letting these guys just let it fly and just kind of play freely. And that's what makes this team fun. And then when that happens, everybody is in a great mood. And that's what this season has been for us so far. So it's been fun for fans because we just get to enjoy it every single night.
Yeah. And I think the Cavs too also have, and I'm not trying to jinx us, but I think we also have an easier route to the finals because I think the East is so weak outside of Cleveland, New York, and Boston. Because after Cleveland, Boston, New York, it's the Pacers, the Bucks, and the Pistons, which the Pacers are fraudulent. We all know that. The Bucks they just got rid of Chris Middleton, sent him to Miami. I can't remember where they sent Chris Middleton. I forget. But they sent away Chris Middleton. And Detroit, we demolished Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit can't stand to play us, and JB can't stand to play us either. Especially after Darius mocked him after hitting the buzzer beater.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But outside of, like I said, outside of Cleveland, Boston, and New York, none of these East teams are all that great. They're very mediocre. And the Cavs have blown out every of these East teams by 20 or more. So if you see these teams in the playoffs, those teams are going to get blown the hell out. Compared to OKC in the West, they have to go through Memphis, Denver, Houston, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Wolves. Sneaking their way, Golden State sneaking their way back up, Sacramento sneaking their way back up. Like, they have to go through a gauntlet. We just have to make sure we don't play Boston or New York.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if we do, you've seen the last few games we played against them. We compete every single night. And I think, I forget the Cavs' record against the Knicks. Because we haven't played them in a very long while. We haven't played them since I think October is the last time we played the Knicks. Because I don't remember playing. Well, we actually played them again, literally right after the All-Star break. But we haven't played. Yeah, we've only played them like one time, and we blew them out. Well, not really a blowout. We beat them by 6.
Yeah.
But that was at New York. That wasn't in Cleveland. That was in New York, and we won. Yeah, that was the only time we played them because we played them. Oh wow, we played them on the 21st, and then we don't play them again until fucking like mid-April.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the last few.
Yeah, and I mean the Cavs have an opportunity to sort of get over their little. It's like the same fear that Ryan Day has against that team up north. Like for ever since that playoff, series a few years ago,
I guess the Knicks,
we just don't have that like confidence. But they have the ability to beat the Knicks, and honestly, I actually think with Cat, I think they're a slightly worse team because I think Cat is such a weird player. I think his ego gets in the way a lot of his play, and I think it affects a lot of his teammates. And I think because of that, teams can struggle with him because of it. And I think that's why the Wolves didn't really do well because his ego was really bad. Now, Julius Randle's was worse. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think just between Brunson and Hart, like Brunson is not having that great of a year this year in comparison to the years he's had. Hart does what he does. I think Hart's role has always been like this sort of like Scottie Pippen type of vibe where he's rebounding, he's throwing assists, like he's just doing everything. But he's not like this like premier scorer.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be Brunson, and that's supposed to be Cat, and who else the fuck they got as well.
I can name you the roster that they. I can name you the roster they had against us this year.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
Mikal Bridges, Cat, Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart. And then for some reason Miles McBride off the bench had 14 against us. But remember when they said Jared Allen said the lights were too bright or whatever, something like that?
Yeah. He
had a triple double against the Knicks this year. 15 points, 15 rebounds. Oh, no, never mind. It wasn't a triple double. I read it wrong, but he had 15 points and 15 boards.
Solid double-double.
Just a big-time double-double. Oh, I was looking at Evan Mobley because Evan Mobley damn near had a triple-double. He had 17-8, and he had like 5 or some blocks too or something crazy. But that was a premier game, and that was Darius Garland's one of his best games this year. He had dropped 35 in that game.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing that I think that is important about this Cavs run is the emergence of Evan Mobley. And we've talked pretty extensively about it, so I don't want to get too involved. But like, dude, Mobley, like before last night, he had a really good stretch of having like some 25 to 30 point games almost nightly after his calf strain. Like, the Boston game was rough for him, and then he comes back immediately and has like a 26 point double. Jared Allen is starting to get back into his like 10 or 14 points and like 10 plus board, type nights. And dude, when Mobley's on, it's scary because when Mobley can start hitting threes, if he hits a 3 or 2 a night, dude, that just adds so much confidence to his game. It adds so much to his rhythm, and I think it adds more to what the defense has to give him because I think in the past guys would just give him those shots and live with it. And now it's like, it's kind of like 50-50, man. Like there's times where he may not be trying to look to get threes, but Mobley's also a dunker and he also moves very well without the ball. And that's why he eats the way that he does. Whatever Kenny has done to help unlock what he has done this year has been, I think, the most prominent part about this Cavs season and this Cavs run, along with Garland playing better. But I also think, again, it's just him finally being healthy. I don't think people really understood what he was going through when he broke his jaw, having his jaw wire shut for like a month and a half or 2 months, losing like 10 to 15 pounds, fighting his way back up. It was no wonder that he was afraid of contact. It was because he was so afraid to get hurt again. He didn't have the extra weight to help throw around and sort of take contact. Where now he's back to being aggressive. He's shooting the ball with confidence every single night. Even if he has a bad night, he's still chucking up like 8 to 10 threes a night. And he may only hit 3 or 4, but that's the same way that you live with Donovan. Where like Donovan started 1 of 5, I think, last night from 3, and then he started getting into a little bit of a rhythm and still had like 22. Like it's like each guy is going to kind of feed off of each other, and that's the beauty of how deep this team is. And again, all that I can hope for is that we just continue to stay healthy. Let's continue giving our bench guys as much time as they can while they can, because come playoff time, it's going to be a little different. But I think Kenny has a really cool opportunity to have like a solid like 8 to like 10 man, roster pretty much ready to go for this playoff run, and having that ability and flexibility. Any coach would just sit there and just maniacally laugh for hours at having that power with their NBA team in the playoffs. So the Cavs have it all out in front of them, and it's just up to them to be able to take it for real.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just excited to see what more we can see from this Cavs team now, especially after this DeAndre Hunter trade.
Yeah, like I don't think we've really seen the peak of that yet.
No, and
once they get into flow, it's going to probably be disgusting.
And that's the thing. We have to wait for them to get into the flow because they've only played 2 games together.
And then they have the fucking All-Star break, and then we don't have enough. We don't even have another game until like next Wednesday, I think, is the first game back.
Let me double check on that.
I think it's Wednesday.
The next game is on the 20th.
So literally a week from today, though.
So a week from today, it would be the next game. So it sucks because we have to wait so long, but I want to say it is it's next Thursday. It's their next game because you have this weekend as the All-Star break, and then they pretty much take off the whole rest of the week next week, except restart on Thursday.
Speaking of which, are we looking forward at all to this new sort of All-Star format that we have? Like, it's different.
It's different.
I think it'll be a little more competitive. But I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm curious to see just how it goes and how competitive they take it, because if the players take it competitively, then it'll be more fun to watch. But if not, it may just be a hit or miss.
I think that I agree, because I think it's how they choose to play in this game. Because we see all-star games all the time now where it's just more about like them having fun, just throwing lobs to each other all the time and doing crazy dunks and whatever. And there's not actual like defense involved and whatnot, because there's really no incentive to winning this game. It's not like the MLB All-Star game where whoever wins, whether it's the AL or the NL, gets home field advantage for the World Series.
Right.
Because there's incentives for them to actually try in that game. It's like, okay, well, this is for us to have advantage in the World Series. This is for us to have home field. So this actually means something. Now, could they do something like that in the NBA? Sure, you could but they already do it like that anyways. The best team already gets home court advantage no matter what. So it's hard to come up with a reason why. Like, I like the skills challenges, and that's the games that the stuff I look forward to, is like the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. Like, that's the stuff I look forward to, because
me too. That's
the fun stuff. Like, that's what makes All-Star Weekend All-Star Weekend. I could care less about the game, because it's like, okay, cool, it's gonna be 212 to like 200, because nobody plays fucking defense and everyone's chucking up half-court threes.
Right.
So, but I would like there to be some kind of incentive. Maybe like more pay or something.
Yeah.
Like something.
Bonus. Yeah. Like at least a bonus. Have a like a prize bonus for MVP, stuff like that. Do it for the winning coach as well. Like, just bring in some sort of incentive for these
Or like a
guys to
charity
make
thing.
it work.
Like
Yeah,
the winner gets like $1 million to like that team's change. So like bring back the East versus West. Let let them choose the charity,
yep,
and then whoever wins gets $1 million to the charity, and then whoever comes in second gets like 500 grand for the other.
yeah.
Like that would be better because it's like
Well,
okay, there's something to play for.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I mean that would be cool. But yeah, I mean I'm definitely more excited about the skills challenge this year because Donovan and Mobley are in it. So that'll be fun. Darius is in the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
I really don't necessarily care about the dunk contest really anymore. It hasn't
Give
been
me
fun
back
for
for
me the last
fun.
few years. But yeah, I mean he's the 2-time reigning champ. The white boy is at it again. So
Because he's the only one who's creative with his dunks. He
yeah,
actually does actual legit dunks. He's
yeah. Well, I think it's because he spends so much time in the G League. That's all he's able to do is just practice for the dunk contest. So I mean, it is cool though that he like gets to come up just for that though because he's not really like a NBA player. So it is cool for him to do that. But yeah, it'll be cool I guess to have a little break, but it's gonna suck not having Cavs freaking basketball for a week now. Like it's not going to be fun for us, especially without any football, no baseball yet. The combine it's at the end of the month, so we still got some time before the fun stuff happens. But I guess speaking of the combine, we might as well talk at least a little bit about the Browns.
yeah.
Not too much to go over, really. It's more of just like continuing rants about stupid stuff. But some news before we get into the ranting part. Shadur is going to have his first meeting with the Browns. I think this week or sometime next week. It's going to be soon, but I know his first meeting is with the Browns. And then obviously the news of the stadium is still getting sort of implemented. It still sounds like the Browns are very adamant in going the dome route, which I totally agree with.
Yep.
And it's just going to come down to whether or not the city is going to finally agree to it, because the city seems to think that just because they're going to move 15 minutes down the road that they're trying to move it out of Cleveland and that it's going to be horrible for us. And it's like, dude, it's literally in the same fucking county. Like, you are literally a part of the county funding and spending. It's going to do so much for the county of freaking Cuyahoga County that it's going to do insane numbers, and it's going to create so many jobs. I mean, I was literally just talking to Drew here before we started, like where I work at, like we're pretty much a distributor for, plumbing and HVAC and, electric lighting gear, all that shit. And dude, it's going to create like a couple hundred jobs from multiple contractors working on, the stadium and all of the, the hotels and all that stuff. Like, that's going to do so much more for the area than renovating on this stupid old stadium that we've had that has needed some sort of renovation for years, but it's more of a pain in the ass, and it's just going to need upgraded again in 10, 15, 20 years again anyway. So you might as well just build a new stadium and just call it a day. So I think the city kind of needs to get on board. What do you think about that? As well as the Sanders news about him meeting with the Browns after we've heard for weeks now that, Shadur has no business wanting to come here and and blah, 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 blah. It seems to be getting more and more represented that he's not opposed to it at all.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not opposed to it. I know his dad was on Radio Row at the Super Bowl saying that he wouldn't be opposed to it either. So if it comes down to it, I mean, it really, and we all know this, it really comes down to what Tennessee does.
Yeah.
Does Tennessee go Shadur? Do they go Cam Ward? Do they shock the world and go like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
So it's our pick solely relies on exactly what Tennessee does. So I'm not opposed to Shador coming here. I've started to grow into him more and more as the days go on. I know I was a little bit on the nose. I know I was on the nose side of it at the start of the talks because I just thought it was gonna be another like one of those like the Ball brothers where it's like, oh great, we have to listen to this annoying ass dad while his kid sucks ass and the team he plays for. But it sounds like that Dion's gonna stay away from it. He's gonna let Shador do his own thing, which I appreciate his dad doing that because it's Shador's career, not yours. Your career ended years ago, so you don't need to butt in and try and ruin his career.
Right.
Cam Ward, obviously, we were very high on him during the NFL season, and we were very high on him during the college football year because we talked a lot about Cam Ward. Both been very high on Cam Ward. In fact, he was the one we brought up first at the beginning of the year. If we had to pick a quarterback, we brought up Cam Ward as like our big name option. So we called that one a long time ago. And obviously Jackson Dart's the number 3. I mean, he rose the draft boards to a damn near top 10 pick now, just after the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to prove that again at the Combine. So I'm excited to see, because I'm actually going to focus a lot on the Combine this year, more than I ever have. Just because I want to see, because it's been a while since we had a top pick like this, so I haven't really been paying much attention since like 2018 of the Combine. Because we got rid of all of our fucking picks. But so there's no reason to watch the Combine.
You're
but
a serial rapist. Listen, man, we fucking suck.
We do suck, Jesus Christ. But now we have a top 10 pick and basically 2 top 30. We have 2 top 33 picks. So we have so it's definitely worth acknowledging this year and watching the Combine and seeing. So I'm excited for it. I'm definitely not opposed to any of the 3 quarterbacks. If we even shot the run with like Jackson Dart, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with the pick. Again, it's one of those things where it just depends on what Stefanski wants and who he believes will fit into a system more. So if he believes Dart will fit into the system more, cool, go for it. If you believe Sanders is that guy, go for it. If you believe Ward is that guy, go for it. Hell, if you want to pass it all up and take Will Howard at 33, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, I trust the process of Kevin Stefanski. I don't trust the process of Andrew Berry or Jimmy Haslam. But I think Kevin Stefanski has more control over this draft than a lot of people realize, because this is going to be more of what does Kevin Stefanski want. This is his team now. We're going to let him have control. We've said this plenty of times over the last few weeks. He's going to have the control. What do you want?
Right.
We're going to draft players that you want. So ultimately, it's up to him what he believes fits. I trust him. Like I said, I could care less about the 3 quarterbacks. I just want one of them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the talk as of late between media members and really just fans alike has always been just like this whole idea that, we're almost too scared to take a quarterback at 2. And it's like, listen, if you genuinely do feel like taking Shador, or if Cam Ward falls and they're both at 2, and if you feel like you need to do that, you fucking do it. Because here's the thing. If you miss out on it, you can go for it again, because the quarterback depth next year is going to be even more crazy. And that's not even to mention the fact that there are going to be bridge quarterbacks available. Now, I want nothing to do with A-Rod at all. It would take a lot for me to be kind of sold on him, and I honestly think he should just retire. At this point, he's done enough for his career. He doesn't need to do any more. Dude, just retire and go hide away somewhere, like just like you want to. Like, go enjoy your life, because you're not enjoying the game anymore. But I would rather take a chance on guys like Stafford, Kirk Cousins. If Sam Darnold is even available, sure. Hell, even Russell Wilson, if he ends up becoming available, if Pittsburgh decides to try to go after like A-Rod or Stafford, and there's talk about them wanting to go after Trevor Lawrence, which is going to be a money pit for whoever goes out for him, or
Yeah.
if Jacksonville decides to move on from him, that's going to be a nightmare of a cap situation for any team to deal with. So I don't see that being the case, but there is opportunity to at least have a bridge to where even if you do take a quarterback early, or if you take one at 33, or even later on in the draft, if you like Will Howard in like the rounds 2 to like 4, if
Mhm.
that's what you want to do, you want to do that. Like, I don't care, because this is going to be a 2-year process anyway. The Browns should be better next year than they were this year, but they're not going to be too much better, especially if they decide to wait on the quarterback. Now, if they go after a guy like Shadur, I think you still need to bring in even a guy like Jameis, or even a guy like Flacco, somebody that has the ability to step in, but more so be the mentor that those guys are going to need to be able to be successful. Um, but there is options, and I think Browns fans, we gotta stop being scared of fucking up. I know we've gone through so many quarterbacks, but we need one. So we have no choice but to continue chopping at the bit until we finally get one. And trust me, eventually we will. Eventually, one day, one is going to plop in our hands. And to be honest,
Mhm.
we had one in 2018, but we fucked up. And it
Yeah.
just is what it is. And we got to fucking live with it, because we all pounded our fists on the table saying, Baker isn't it. Baker isn't it. And maybe he wasn't it at the time, but he is now. And it's one of those things that you're going to have to bite your hand for the rest of your life on. But it's not the end of the world. And I do want to kind of take this into a little bit of the rant that I wanted to
Mhm.
kind of
Go
talk
for it.
about. I'm tired of the content creators and media personnel being lazy about the coverage of this team right now.
Mhm.
I'm tired of them making the same, like it's almost copy and paste of the same ideas, the same content as the next. I'm not gonna give away the name of the guy that I had saw, but I'm sure some of you guys have seen the clip out there somewhere. I saw it on TikTok and it just enraged me because the personality that I saw is one that I disagree with heavily in this space, especially the Cleveland space. And I have no idea why he even has a space in this realm. But hey, he's there and I'm here. So, you know, I can't really talk that much more about it. But the content was simple. It was, here are 3 ways that the Browns can nail the 2025 draft. And basically all it was, oh, you take Shador or Ward at 2, or you take Abdul Carter or Travis, Hunter, or one of those guys at 2, or you trade back and then you go after a quarterback later on in the draft. But basically, it was like, yeah, you have to draft a quarterback at some point. Um, it just depends on where and
Mhm.
who you like, and it's just like, dude, no shit, like no duh. Oh, duh. Of course that's what they're gonna do, you idiot. Be creative. Like, actually, like, go through drafts and be like, hey, this is the way that I would want to go. Give out more specific players on guys that you would want to target later on in the draft. Like, in my opinion, the Browns should go after not 1, but 2 running backs in this draft.
Yeah.
I don't think you really hit on a receiver. And if you do hit on a receiver, the only way that's going to happen is if you trade back up into the first round somehow, which could happen if you trade Myles Garrett. If you trade Myles and you still get a top 15 or top 20 pick, then you have that ability to go after a top receiver, and then you can load up there. But like, dude, be creative. Be creative in your content. I don't understand why everybody has to do the copy pasta bullshit. It infuriates me. When did content become so dull that people can't even have their own have their own ideas and be a little different than what everybody else is doing? And I just kind of want your take on it, because I did show you the video. I
Yeah.
showed you who it was. We both know who this was.
we
But
both hate him too.
I can't stand it, man. It infuriates me, and it really deflates me because there's so many great personalities in this space. Not even including us. Like I'm gonna take us out of that. I'm
Yeah.
saying unbiased. Like there are good personalities in this space that don't get enough credit. Meanwhile, this Jagaloon has so much on him. He's on multiple different shows around the Cleveland space, and he's a fucking dud. He's just an idiot. His takes are horrible. His ideas are horrible. He has no room to be here whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, he has no room to be here whatsoever. And honestly, this would be a great TikTok reign too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same copy and paste bullshit that we've heard for the last 3 months. The same three options we heard for the last since probably Thanksgiving. What do we do at number 2? What do we do here? What do we do here? Or basically, it was the same shit we heard on Christmas. What do you do with these picks? What do you do at number 2? Do you trade back and wait for a quarterback later? Do you get quarterback at 2, or do you take best available at 2? Brother, no duh. We heard this shit over and over again. It's been 2 months now since we've heard all this stuff. And you're still repeating the same, you're parroting the same ideologies over and over again. Get wild, get creative, fight for what you believe in. That's why you have a space. Fight for what you believe in. Be like you said, get specific. At number 2, I want Shedeur Sanders. Why? Because he is the most accurate quarterback in college football history. He would fit in Kevin Stefanski's system very well. Take him at number 2. Then at 33, you take an edge rusher or a running back or something, or a tackle. You take one of the, and you name a couple people. You take some of these guys. 3rd round, give me like Cam Scatabo or some shit.
Yep. And
take it. Like, I'm not saying go through the whole draft like that, but at least give okay, well, here's the 30 things we should do with the number 2 pick. Get quarterback. Get best available. Or trade pick. No shit.
Yeah. You blew my mind.
You blew my mind.
With that video. I lost brain cells.
Yeah, we talked about this for the last 2 months. We've literally said the same shit in the last 2 months. Ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. Why are you cookie pasting topics and takes that have been on ESPN, Fox Sports, our show, other shows? Like, why are you copy and pasting it? Like, come up with your own ideologies. You're in this space for a reason. Now, I'm not saying go be like other creators and ride the I just want likes and retweets on my X page, which is like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is available. Hammer Aaron Rodgers. Hammer Aaron Rodgers. Like, give me Aaron Rodgers, baby. Like,
because trust me, we know those content creators in this space as well. Every time a new name gets brought up, oh, I want him. No, don't be like that either. Like, unless you fit, like, you genuinely, like, yes, this guy would genuinely bring in wins for us, and this is why. Like, it was just, it was some lazy content, and you could even tell. Like, listen, we learned in journalism school that, when you're doing a story and it's pre-recorded like that, yes, you're going to have a script. You could tell that this dude had his eyes on the script as he's going. Like, he wasn't even trying to like look back and forth to the camera or like trying to hide it a little bit. Like, at least have it so it's like near your camera or something.
When you look at it, you're looking at it's like you're looking at the camera.
Hiding it. And it's like, at that point, don't even put your camera in there. Just have your voiceover and just have it be like that. But like, dude, it's just it's the laziness in your content.
Mm-hmm.
And I know recording a podcast and just posting the whole thing is lazy to a degree, but this isn't our full-time gig. If this was our full-time gig and we made money out of this, there would be a lot more content coming out, a lot more. And honestly, we can and should post more content, and we have tried, and we are going to continue to try. But the point is you got to be creative. Like, God, it's no wonder that space of where this guy is at now, because he was on a specific show in Cleveland for a little while, and he still is on one. But it is just baffling to me. It's so baffling that these people have a serious personality in the space like they do, a limelight like they do, and I'm sorry, but they just don't deserve it because their input is so luster. It's not there's no there's no
And
creativity whatsoever, and there's like absolutely no facts to back it up. Like there are certain people in this space that are really good at that, and he is not one of them.
well, and the thing is also the fact that like there are some people in this Cleveland media space that got big just off of a couple of tweets of like reactionary tweets that they've had,
Mm-hmm.
and then they end up getting jobs at like FanDuel or like they got jobs somewhere in like the Cleveland media. And it's like, how you just had like 3 tweets that blew up because you're a reactionary, and now all of a sudden you just were granted a job. Like,
Grant. Sorry,
yeah,
I had to cough.
and there's a couple others too. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a show on Big Play where they talked about, hey, if Terry Francona comes to Cleveland with the Reds, are you gonna boo him? And everyone's like, fuck yeah. And it's like
That's
are you?
probably not gonna be how that goes at all.
No, I was like, you do realize like the rest of us, the more intelligent ones, are actually gonna like be like, thank you, Tito, for all the years that you've given us because you
Yeah,
actually helped us get to a World Series and you've helped us grow this team because those are two shit at their jobs and you
and
helped
we
us
were
grow this team.
always like almost a playoff team almost every year that he was here with us,
Yeah.
minus a few years. He's gonna go down as arguably one of the goats in terms of
Coaching
baseball
history.
GGMs. Yeah, I mean, it's like the same people. I don't think it was Big Play that asked this. It might have been like ESPN Cleveland or something. But somebody put a tweet out that said, "The next time that Myles Garrett attends a Cavs game, will you boo him?" And
Like, here we go again.
it's like, listen. Now we did talk last week about how we do think Miles is kind of making himself into a little bit of a villain, but I
I'm
still
not
think
gonna
a
boo the
majority
man.
of fans are not going to totally boo him because first off, I wouldn't boo somebody that's 6'5", 275. That doesn't sound like a very good
Idea.
idea for anybody. Somebody's going to get killed, respectively. But it's still Miles. Like he still has done what he did. He's done a lot for the community. Like nobody really blames him, but it does suck that he's sort of checked out. But again, you can't blame him after everything, considering we as fans feel like we're pretty much ready to check out, but we're so invested and we can't help it because it's in our blood. We've been fans for a lot longer than Miles has even been playing football for. And it's like, I get it. It is business. It sucks, but dude, the whole that's the content that I can't stand. That is the
Yeah.
content that pisses me off. And I just wish that content wasn't popular, but it always pops off because it's
It's
negative.
well, yeah, on all the negatives and reactionary content get all the views because like before this podcast, I did another podcast with a group of guys from Texas and New Mexico, whatever. And we had to stop doing that because the main guy is working for a TV station in Austin, Texas, and we can't do the podcast anymore due to his contract agreement. But he would make Texas because he's a Texas Longhorns fan. He would make Texas reactionary videos about like the Texas, like this was back in like 2019 COVID and like the year after COVID. And he would make reactionary Texas Longhorns videos when the Texas Longhorns would lose to like trash teams.
Yeah.
And they would garner over like 2,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And this was before we posted anything on like TikTok, whatever. And he would post it on Instagram. And mind you, we had almost damn near like 10K Instagram followers.
Yeah.
And he would get almost damn near 10K views and like over like 1,000 likes on that. And I did one for Ohio State when we lost to, I think it was Bama in the playoffs.
Mm.
That alone got 4K views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I think we posted it on Instagram and I get another like almost 10K. And I was like, holy shit, negative content garners so many views. It's wild. Your video on TikTok about Ohio State losing to Michigan garnered 35,000 views on TikTok.
Which was just a rant of how much how mad I was and how I wanted Ryan Day gone, and now I'm praising Ryan Day for giving us a national championship. Which, by the way, peep the hat because
Yeah.
this hat's sick. Finally got my gear, but yeah, like it's all reactionary, and that TikTok was pretty much negative. So it sucks that the negative sells, but we're taught that literally in school. Like you're literally taught that in journalism school.
Yeah.
Negative
Negativity
shit
sells.
sells. And so it's hard for guys like us because we're not really negative unless we're ranting about stuff like this. But
Yeah.
I don't mind having like a reaction to
Mhm.
to something, but the laziness is where I have such a small amount of patience for. I can't stand it, and I'm tired of these content creators that are so big be so fucking lazy.
Me too. It's getting so annoying, man. I can't deal with it anymore.
I
Be-
can't too.
It's like, and there's guys that we know in there that we love, but they're delving into the I want Aaron Rodgers, give me Aaron Rodgers, please, and it's like you don't really believe that. You just say that so you can garner reactions, and that's the only reason why you posted that is so
Yeah.
you can get the reactions from the people, so people can comment and lash out at you. And it's like I know you don't believe that in the deep depths of your soul. You don't believe that. Like if you were to say that to me in person, I could tell you wouldn't believe it when you say it to me. You'd be like, give me Aaron Rodgers, baby," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I
It's
don't
like
believe us."
look me in the fucking eyes
And
and
tell
tell
me
me
you
again
want
that
Aaron.
you really want A-Rod. You want a 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers who
You
would
want,
rather go to Egypt during training camp
yeah.
than be with his team. Like I'm not a part of that. I'm not. There how
Yeah,
could you? I don't care what his past is. He's not the same person.
he's not the same guy he was 15 years ago. Like, knock
Oh,
it off. Like,
not even the same guy from 5 years ago.
yeah,
Like pre-COVID A-Rod, great, but man, after COVID, like during COVID and after COVID,
well, I
A-Rod
mean,
started doing freaking hallucinogens and
even before, like the season before he went to the Jets, he had was it an MVP like season just before he went to the Jets. And it's like, okay, cool. He was still 38, 39 at that time. But he's 42. He just came off of a fucking torn Achilles. He can't do anything anymore. He ruptured his Achilles. He's done. He's gone. And again, it's just all the same people like we talked about earlier. As soon as someone becomes available, we want him as a Brown. Bring him to Cleveland, baby. Let's go. Cleveland Brown. Cleveland Brown. Like Micah Parsons. They were talking about Micah Parsons maybe not returning to Dallas. And everyone instantly Cleveland Browns, baby. And it's same with baseball and basketball. Like as soon as someone gets dropped, he's a Guardian, he's a Cav,
yeah.
and it's like, oh my god, please stop with this shit. Like, please, it's annoying. I'm tired of going on to Instagram or to Twitter just to like check on some shit, and all of a sudden it's bring this guy to Cleveland, and like someone gets released, like Aaron Rodgers, or something. Come to Cleveland, Cleveland, Cleveland. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like I'm about to mute like half of Cleveland space.
I mean, I kind of have started to be honest. Like there's quite a few people that I have very much muted just because I cannot stand the almost the overload of content that they put out, and it's like it's cringy type of content. Like it's
Yeah,
like the Carnes poems and weird haikus that he does, and how inconsistent he is. Like he's had like over 20 fucking tweets about how great Andrew Berry is. And then now he gets to flip the script and say, "Oh, AB sucks. We don't need him." Blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, you have receipts, and there's a lot of receipts out there, and
yeah.
it's like you're just flipping your ways to fit the content and the mood that's going on right now. And I don't like that. Like that's not real to me. That's fake. And I'm not.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I don't have patience for. It's fucking fake people. And unfortunately, in this space, you're gonna find plenty of them, no matter where you go. And you just kind of weed them out and try to do your best to mute them.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, there are some people who I'd love to have on the show. Like, there's a couple people I'd love to get on here and talk with us.
Yes, I do too.
But there's some where it's like I'm about to start creating like a no like a ban list for the show or whatever. Like these people are not allowed on the show ever.
Yeah, quite
like
literally.
like they're like because there's stuff that I want to do, like especially for like the draft coming up. I would love to just have a bunch of people on the show and we all just watch the draft together.
All right.
Like I have the like how I have like the NFL tickers on or the game cast on the screen. I can have the NFL draft ticker on the screen, whatever, and we all sit here and enjoy the draft and just hang out and have like 3-4 people in here. We're just sitting here bullshitting during the draft.
Yeah.
There's stuff with like because it's just content, and there'd be some fun things to have like certain specifics to have people on the show for just to talk that are pretty much experts in the space or hell just to even talk like. At some point, it would be cool if we could get Jack Duffin on the show to talk about Brown's cap space and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or, it'd be fun to have like hell, even just to have a fun talk. You invite like a Gab Gowdy or something to have a fun little chat and talk and stuff,
Yeah.
or like a Sir Yacht.
Yeah.
But there's some people on here. It's like, don't come onto the show because I don't need that negative space. I don't need that. I don't need you to switch up every 30 seconds on your takes.
Yeah.
Like Andrew Barry sucks. Oh no, I love Andrew Barry. No, Andrew Barry sucks. No, I love him. Like, no, you don't. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Get out of this space. Like, there's some people I would love to have on here, and there's some people where it's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Want nothing to do with you whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I'm at. But yeah, that was my little rant. I'll probably post some of that on TikTok to be honest with you, because I'm sure that'll get some nice views.
Absolutely.
Because hey, we're in the content space too. We need clicks and likes. That's the way this world works. But
Yeah.
I just hate it when people are fake. Like that's me being real. That's not me putting up a front to try to get these likes. That was real. Like that was pure emotion, and it's gonna get you'll get posted because it's who I fucking am, and I'm not gonna not be who I am. And I wish more people would just accept the type of person that they are and truly be that. And that's why like I don't always respect everything that Gab Gotti says, but I respect her as her person because she's never
Fake.
tried. She's never fake, and she's never really faded away from certain opinions or
Yeah.
certain things that she feels about, and that I can 100% respect. And that's why I will always enjoy, all of the content from her. All of the Dogland guys, like even they will have things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I respect that group of guys because they're all original, they're all creative, and they're
They
all
stick to their
genuinely
opinions.
good people. And like you just gotta find those people, and there's
Mhm.
just there's too many fakes out there out in this for the wrong reason. And that's
For sure.
pretty much all else I got. You got anything else before we log off? I know this week kind of sucked because we don't have really a lot to talk about, but we made it happen.
We made it happen. No, enjoy the weekend. It's Valentine's weekend, so if you have a girl or a guy or someone in your life that you love, enjoy the weekend. Go out and do something nice. Watch the All-Star weekend. Enjoy it. Watch Four Nations. That's going on too for hockey. So go watch Four Nations. That's the NHL pretty much All-Star game this year. Enjoy that. Just go out and just enjoy this weekend, man.
Yeah. Try to at least. I mean,
Try to. It's gonna get
listen,
cold as hell here in a few days. It's gonna get back
it
into the
is.
teens the next couple of days. So
It
enjoy
is.
while you enjoy while laughing.
Now listen, gentlemen,
Boys.
if you have not gotten your woman flowers, because it's 8:18 on Thursday night, so it's 8:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have not gotten your flowers at least ordered and they aren't on the way, or you at least haven't talked to a florist, good luck getting flowers at Walmart or Meijer or Target, because that's about all you're gonna do.
Mhm.
But if you got a lady, if you got a special size on one, take the time out of your day to still make sure that they know. I know Valentine's Day kind of stinks, and it's like one of them weird, like capitalist holidays that everybody hates, but it's fun and it's a way for you guys to celebrate your significant other. So do that. Go out of your way and appreciate the people that you have in your life. Hell, if you don't have a significant other, go get your mama some flowers. She'll fucking fall over and peel over. Like she
Yeah.
will. She will die over that. So go do something for someone tomorrow, because regardless, we got to uplift each other and we got to be nice to each other. So that is going to do it for us. We will see y'all next week, hopefully with way more content
Yeah.
than just what we had today. We'll see you guys next week.